You have found what lights you up. I'm your host, Sunny the Life Coach, and I'm here because I see you searching for something or someone out there to help you feel better. Something to take away the pain that you're feeling, the inadequacies. I know all of the things that happen in life can leave you feeling empty. Your search is over. This podcast is all about finding your own freedom and power to love yourself enough to shine in the ways you were always meant to, the ways in which you are already fully capable of. If you're ready for some real talk, some serious truth bombs, and a few F-bombs, you are in the right place. Let's do this. Let's get lit. Hey there, welcome to episode 63. Whew, I went off on a bit of a tangent around overwhelm in the previous episode, didn't I? Well, I'm actually quite passionate about the way the world works in conjunction with coaching other humans, how to see more of it, how to see it in a different way, the inner workings, different than the way that we have been taught. I've come to recognize the rules that have been put in place for us by society, and I also recognize those that we impose on ourselves as a result. You see, I'm fine with knowing that our thoughts create our feelings, and at the same time, being very mindful and aware of the shit that goes on in the world. Both the reality of things that happen and the reality that we create. Awareness of both can coexist. At least they can for me, because I don't look at it as binary. It's not just black and white. There are so many shades in between and so much nuance to consider. And I hope to help as many people as possible to understand the same, because there is a peace that exists on the other side of that knowing, a calmer space. I've been on a journey, as some of you may know, and I keep meeting the most amazing and like-minded people along the way that it really has me jazzed up to talk more about spirituality myself. Yes, the woo. I don't really even like referring to spirituality as woo, but I think it helps some listeners to understand where I am about to go. I'm going to inner spirituality, not to religion. While often the terms of religion and spirituality get intertwined, that's not how I see it. I think they can be complementary, and of course we are all free to believe whatever we choose, which is a beautiful, amazing place to be. I'm so grateful for that, as it isn't true for every part of planet Earth. No, I'm not going to get astrological on you. I have no clue. I am going to talk about a few concepts that I have found to be important in my journey as a coach and in my life as a whole. So I want to share them here. Sometimes it's a delicate dance getting into the concept of neutral circumstances with my clients, and I get it. There are things that happen in our world that we think everyone else should be raging about. We've definitely seen that coming to light in the past few years, haven't we? It is a very interesting time to be alive, my friends. Fascinating, really. I love to be fascinated, to bring my inner child with her wonder and awe along for the ride, to bring my learning mind to every conversation or scenario, to ask, what is this life lesson today? Well, today, I want to introduce you to my version of the Matrix and incorporate some of the recent approaches I've heard from my friends on this very podcast. The conversations with Carlene, Casey, and Christine in particular. 3 C names, no less. I just realized that. Fascinating. If you missed any of them, I'll give you the episode numbers to check out later. For now, I want to dive right into the Matrix because I was thinking about that quite a bit when I was sharing the societal conditions that often contribute to overwhelm. I was thinking, really, this is the Matrix, this 3D version of reality. Now, if you haven't seen those movies, and I am painfully aware that there are still a few people out there who have not. I'll just give you the premise, no spoilers. I mean, by now, the premise is widely known, right? Because it depicts a dystopian future in which humanity is unknowingly trapped inside a simulated reality, the Matrix, created by intelligent machines to distract humans while using their bodies as an energy source. That's super interesting, isn't it? Yes, the idea that we are living in a simulated reality might not be that far-fetched, because if you think about it, the way that we perceive our lives has been largely shaped by conditioning that might just have been intentionally crafted that way to keep us all in line. No doubt, that's how I see the patriarchy. This structure created to totally fuck with our perception. That's what I'm talking about with my version of the Matrix today. I'm not diving into conspiracy theories in case that's what you're here for. I am open to exploring alternate ways to see our lives as they are unfolding. However, I've always been about that, because there are some healing elements to being open to possibilities. Also, my friend Carlene referred to the Matrix when she was talking about 3D consciousness, which is where much of humanity has largely lived their experience, within those walls that we are told by other humans we have to reside in, staying in our lanes, being good, not questioning the status quo. That's what we mean by living in 3D. It's only the people who ultimately do push back and question what they have been told is impossible that actually achieve it and show the rest of us what really is possible. One widely used example is the first man to complete a 4-minute mile, up until 1954. When a man named Roger Bannister crushed a myth by completing a mile in 3 minutes and 59 seconds. Before he did that, it was impossible, and everyone believed it. After he did, more and more runners believed it, and so they did too. Over 1,400 of them, I believe. It used to be referred to as the 4-minute barrier. And now it's the standard of professional middle distance runners in several cultures. All because one dude said, "Watch this." Can you imagine if he hadn't? We might still be walking around referring to a 4-minute barrier that ultimately turned out to be a lie. He was able to expose that lie because he didn't buy into that limitation that had always been there. So let that sink in. There wasn't that much time that passed between Roger Bannister running a mile in under 4 minutes that man landed on the moon. I mean, unless you believe that didn't even happen, which, okay, you can choose to believe that the moon landing is a hoax. That's the thing about the actual matrix we are living in. It's designed to work a certain way, and it's definitely constructed to benefit a certain subset of humanity the most. No doubt. Yet, it's also customizable. You can create, and in fact have created, your own version of the Matrix. You get to believe whatever you want to believe. The thing is, a lot of us will latch on to things like conspiracy theories about what did or didn't happen, or what is currently happening, and we're zoomed so far out with the big picture that we're not fully connected to what's inside of us, to our own power. My friends, the 3 C's that I referred to earlier, who have come on this podcast to share their perspectives, will refer to that power that you have as your inner voice, your intuition, or your subconscious. It's all the same, and it's all very powerful, yet we are traveling through most of our lives tuning that out. Now, I'm still diving into all the layers of the subconscious in particular, so I'll have to come back to that as a future topic. But the way I'm seeing it now is that there are both primal areas and areas of higher consciousness. For purposes of today's topic, I'll keep the subconscious references to that kind of automation part of our brains, what we've been programmed to believe. So, traveling through most of our lives, tuning out the inner guidance available to us. That's what we do, just kind of flying blindly with all of the doing in life that we aren't taking the time just to be. There's a whole balance with being and doing that I'll also share with you on another episode in the future. Just know that it's a thing. Being is just as important as doing. Hear me, I'm going to repeat that again. Being is just as important as doing. And if you heard any of those conversations that I've referred to, I hope you noticed a couple of things about them that I did. First, there was some overlap in the concepts. That's why I wanted to pull it all together for you here today. Second, each one of them were joyful when they talked about manifesting hypnotherapy or living in 5D consciousness. You can hear it in their voices. All three of them were excited about the power that they've been able to tap into. Here's what I want you to think about right now. What part of your life do you get ecstatic about? What lights you up? And please don't say your partner or your children or really anyone else, because I want you to look within right now. Because as much love as you may generate for your partner, your children, your family, or your friends, every emotion that you feel toward them is a result of what you have created within yourself with your thoughts. That goes both ways, because those loving relationships can also drain you, can't they? You see, we give so much of ourselves, our time and energy, as I've said, to the matrix, that we have disconnected from our own essence. We're just trying to keep from drowning in the stress, the anxiety, the overwhelm. Well, let's take a really good look at that now, because I gave you some tips in the last episode around how to navigate that overwhelm, as an example, by questioning how you might be benefiting. And what I mean by that is perhaps you believe that you will feel better about yourself if you receive praise from others for stepping up and doing whatever needs to be done without question. I believe that's one thing I mentioned as a possible way that you are perceiving a reward for what you are doing. You get the idea. What is it for you? Be onto yourself, because that is likely coming from your subconscious. So you may have to do some exploring there. I'm going to reiterate something very powerful that Casey said during our talk, and it's this: what you think doesn't matter. What your subconscious believes to be true is what matters. Super important to be aware of. Because when I say notice your thoughts, it's not always obvious, and that's where coaching is so beneficial. We'll say things out loud and don't even realize it's coming from the depths of our subconscious that ends up being in the driver's seat. Then we can't understand why our lives seem so chaotic. It takes a lot of practice to tap into that or to find awareness, but it can be done. Just like running a 4-minute mile can be done. Except what I'm talking about is totally possible for anyone to do, and the training won't be nearly as physically grueling. Running is not my thing, so hopefully the zombie apocalypse looks more like The Walking Dead than World War Z. Look those up if you're not sure what I'm talking about. This is where I'm getting into the watch your language part of my TED Talk today. And you all know I love my sweary words, so that's not the language I'm referring to. Of course it's not that. I say this all the time, and it bears repeating. How you talk to yourself and about yourself matters. Your words matter. Language matters because as humans, we assign meaning to the words. We have thoughts about the words, and emotions follow. I actually realized that I needed to weave language into this topic when another friend sent me a Marco Polo message the other day and said something like, "Everything's crazy right now." And then she caught herself. I know I say that a lot, which had me thinking, yeah, that's it. Of course, that's it. It's not just how you talk to yourself and about yourself, but also how you refer to your life. Of course, when you talk about yourself, you're typically talking about your life. And you know what else you're doing? Manifesting, creating your reality, customizing your matrix, writing the code, speaking it into existence. You see, as my friend Christine will say, the universe doesn't know the difference between positive or negative. What you think about and mostly what you feel deeply, you will generate more of. So if you're thinking, my life is crazy, I'm so busy, this is stressful, every day is more overwhelming, then guess what? You're going to keep getting more of that. Because while you're also hoping that something will change, the more energy that you put toward this go, go, go lifestyle of yours, the more that it will continue to grow. And just to keep things super interesting, your subconscious thoughts are in the driver's seat and you don't even realize you're thinking these things until you say them out loud in a video message to your friend. Then you might catch yourself with something like, I say that a lot. Or you might just move on with your day and not even realize that the energy you're generating might be a bit frantic, disheveled, or chaotic. And the universe says, okay, more of that is what you want. The universe doesn't communicate through language. That's what humans do. The universe works through emotion. What frequency are you on right now? Take a breath and ask yourself. Ask your inner guide, your own innate wisdom, right there, waiting for you to pause and listen. But I can't pause, you say. There's too much to do. To that, I say, watch your damn language. Sometimes this helps me to catch myself when I'm not being coached. You can do something like my friend did and send a message to someone, one where you are speaking, not texting, just let the words flow out of you, and you just might catch yourself saying something like, my life is crazy right now. And then you can get to the business of reframing that narrative in your mind. What is a better thought to think? One that's a bit more empowering than thinking that the world is coming at you from all directions. Explore some different options. Lean more toward love and gratitude. Those are the best ones to connect with in order to bring more of the good stuff your way. Or what I do sometimes is just create a voice memo and I talk to myself for a few minutes. It's also a great way to build some rapport and deepen your relationship with you. Just speak your thoughts out loud for a few minutes as you are recording and play them back. Really listen to your language. Then ask yourself, what feelings are coming up for me when I say these things? What is this? Is it stress, tension, helplessness? And it's always important to remain compassionate as you explore your thoughts and the emotions that are connected to them. Don't get down on yourself or your life, but channel something that's right, something that's always going right, whatever right means for you. Even if it's something as simple as your favorite flowers being in bloom or snuggling with your dog, there's something you can find amidst the chaos that brings you calm. There's always something. You just have to open your eyes to it, because in those moments of overwhelm, your filters are on for nothing more than your growing to-do list. I promise you can find the time to be with yourself, honor yourself, and care for yourself if you want to make you a priority, if you decide to do that. And remember, we're making all kinds of decisions all throughout the day. Why not make one or two of those decisions for yourself? And yes, sometimes that means getting up 30 minutes early so that you can have quiet focus. And trust me, You will feel so much better throughout your day if that's where you start. Inward, quiet, calm, curious, inquisitive, open. Pay close attention to the energy that you are not only expending in your life, but also that you are generating as a result of feeling stuck or crazy busy. Whatever you are putting out there is going to come back to you. It seems a hell of a lot more palatable to get more of the loving, peaceful, calmer experiences of life. If that's what you want, you're in control. Just to recap 4 things from this. First, we already live in a version of the Matrix. It's been well constructed to keep us in our place, but we don't have to accept every aspect of our conditioning. What if it's true that we are the ultimate creators of our lives? Second, I absolutely believe that to be true, as I've had many personal experiences that prove that. When we become more connected to ourselves, our inner guide, or even our subconscious, we are better positioned to design the life that we really want. Third, the best place to start is to watch your language. Be mindful of the words that elicit negative emotion for you, because everyone has their own experience. Some words that make you cringe don't bother your best friend, and vice versa. But because language is how we communicate with the other humans, we understand that best. We relate to it. Start noticing how you feel about the words you use just casually every day. You may well be subconsciously generating more of the same for yourself. And fourth, please take some time to be. Just be still with you. Connect with you. Listen. You might just learn something new. You know why I enjoy quoting a 13th century poet in just about every episode? Because he was clearly so tapped into his own inner wisdom that we are in awe of it over 700 years later. No matter what I'm talking about, I can find a Rumi quote that is relevant. Today, there is this. The soul has been given its own ears to hear things mind does not understand. Yes, tap into your soul, your higher self, your inner guide, and it is the most important work that we can be doing to move closer to a life experience of peace, calm, ease, and yes, pure joy. And I'm just scratching the surface, but I'll be sure to share with you all of the good stuff, because that lights me up. I am experiencing how great it feels to have awareness of this, yet still find balance and acknowledge what's happening in the matrix. All of the systems set up to keep us boxed in with our limiting beliefs, to keep us all thinking this is just how it works, because keeping us there ensures there is no threat to those structures. That doesn't have to be your single reality. We have the ability to hold space and awareness of both what has been created and the parts of life that we have the ability to create for ourselves. There are so many teachers out there for us. We encounter them every single day. We also have the teacher within. I've been thinking a lot, some conscious thought, about making more connections, deeper, more meaningful connections, and hopefully with some of you listening. I've also been thinking about how crucial it is that we get to a place of emotional well-being. There have been points in my own past that I have felt so far away from that, I couldn't imagine life any other way. I couldn't fathom the greater experience that was waiting for me to simply see it, to be with it. There are, in fact, so many ways to feel better. And I think one of the best ways to do that is to start connecting to ourselves at a deeper level. So you'll be hearing more from me on these topics for sure. Check out episodes 53, 54, 57, and 61 to hear my conversations with Christine Rizzo, Carlene Selg, and Casey Radamus. I pulled a little nugget from each of those today to put something together that I hope you find helpful to consider. If you'd like to have a conversation, I am here for it. It is currently my life's work to help you see the difference between the matrix and the version of reality that you are creating for yourself, and also how to leverage your own abilities to live a more fulfilling life. Get on my calendar and let's talk. I'll put the link in the show notes, and I can't wait to hear from you. Until then, light up, shine on.